Hello, everyone. Welcome
Hello.
again to the Figs Gaming chat room, I suppose. I don't know. Professor
Meeting
Gamer,
place of minds.
that's the place, I tell you. The place for minds to meet. Yeah, I should have put some thought into the what this room is called, but yeah, thanks for coming, everyone. Gamer Dan, how you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Still plugging away on Tears of the Kingdom, but quite
Yes.
excited for Pikmin.
All right, yes, we're going to be talking about that quite a bit today. And today we have returning with us Professor Suzuka. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm very good. Thank you.
All right, pleased to have you. All right, now listen,
Mhm.
Gamer Dan and I have, as people know in the channel, has looked at the Gaming Direct twice. So we just want to get your thoughts on the Gaming Direct. Did you see it, Nintendo Game Direct? Nintendo Direct. All right, so we want to ask you some questions about it, and then we're gonna start talking about Pikmin. We're gonna move a bit quickly, and we understand you're gonna have to leave a bit earlier today. So Gamer Dan and I will just continue on other topics after. All right, without further ado, three, two, one. Just gonna let this thing play in the background. Okay, providing it plays at all. Thank you very much. Internet speed. Oh dear. All right, everybody, I'm gonna put it on the low quality just to be safe. It's gonna be terrible, but oh well. It's not the main attraction, is it? 144p. All right, question time. Professor Suzuka, I sent
Yes.
you and Gamer Dan a few questions about Direct, and well, Gamer Dan, I guess we can restate our opinion, but should we go to Professor Suzuka first? All right, Professor Suzuka. Question one: in your opinion, what was the most exciting game announcement from the Nintendo Direct, and why?
So new Mario Bros. Title,
Okay,
Mario Wonder.
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 Yes.
Yes.
I wonder what that'll be like.
Yes. I'm very looking forward to play.
So what do you think it will be like?
So last title is maybe it was 3DS title. So
What do you
correct.
mean RPG?
No,
No,
RPG.
the last one was the cat game.
Oh, 3D Land.
That's
Yes,
the one.
that's the one. Yes. So what do you think? What do you think about this one? What do you think it will be like, Professor?
So last title is 3DS, so I played the game maybe 10 years ago.
Wow, time flies.
So yes, so I'm excited. Me and my mother. My mother also love it.
Oh man, I'm so jealous.
Yes.
Can
So
you
my
believe
mother
it, Dan?
said I want to buy a new Switch.
Damn it!
Nice, nice.
Look at
Because
you.
the new title is coming.
What kind of you have a great family?
Intergenerational gaming. That's what we want. Generational
Yeah.
gaming.
Yes,
Telling me.
generation.
In fact, Professor's got to ask: has your mother seen the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Movie?
Did your mother see the movie, the Mario movie?
No, but I gave the not material, but so
The promotional material, the
yes,
posters.
promotion.
All right.
Yes.
So she's not.
For those of
see
you who
it?
don't know,
yes.
with big films in Japan, when you go to the cinema, they tend to give you a poster or a file. They give you some kind of extra material when you go to see it. Like I've still got my Avengers Endgame poster that when I went to see it at the cinema.
Well. Gosh. Oh, wait a minute. I know what you're talking about. When we were,
Yeah, I hope so.
of course. I went to the Super Mario Brothers movie. I got something of the sort. Aha! Of course. What am I talking about? Of course I know. But still, she has to see the movie. All right, never mind. All right, but Gamer Dan, did you want to leave any comments about your most exciting? What you thought was the most exciting announcement from the?
Well, I'm an old school gamer. I know it's even very old to refer to it as old school, but I am excited by some of these remakes but I think that it's the calm before the storm. I'm excited about Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, where the Mario RPG, some of the older games that are coming to the Switch, including Batman Arkham and Metal Gear Solid. But I'm worried that this will be the beginning of the transition to the next generation. I think that Nintendo's pushing it off. They don't want to change too soon, but they're getting everyone ready, priming people for the next console.
All right, boy, oh boy, that's a topic we'll continue later, Gamer Dan. And I guess Professor Suzuka, we'll just jump right onto question 2. All right, here we go. Question 2. Looking back at the Nintendo Direct, do you think the presentation lived up to your expectations? Why or why not? In other words, what do you think of the way it was shown?
I think it lived up to my expectations.
Okay.
Yes, because this Nintendo Direct so announced about Pokemon's new DLC, and so many of Mario's titles, like Peach. Yes, Peach and so Mario Wonder and remake RPG and Luigi Mansion, etc. So many titles are coming soon. So yes, more great.
I see.
Super great.
Yeah,
Direct.
But I gotta ask Professor Suzuka, did you expect this? Did you expect there to be all these new Mario games?
Mario movie was very successful. So maybe the new title is coming, but Peach and new Mario Wonder coming. So I thought only one title, but 2 or 3 titles.
All right.
So I was surprised.
So you just thought 1 was coming, but they hit you with 3. I mean, that's interesting. Let's see what Gamer Dan thinks. Gamer Dan, did you expect what you got in this presentation? In this Direct?
No. Nintendo Directs get a lot of very popular, and many people are like really excited about them. In the past, there have been some big Nintendo Directs that went berserk. I mean, when they announced the Mario movie, the internet exploded. But this Direct felt strange. It was a lot of games we didn't expect came out. Like I was surprised. I'd heard about the Metal Gear Solid collection, but on the Switch, and bringing back, Peach game. I didn't hear about this. This was new. And even Mario Wonder, that's a really strange game. It looks great. I'm very excited, but it feels the entire Direct, I think, was kind of out of left field. It was a little strange. I expected something big, and I got something that,
a bit trippy.
What? Like this, a Persona tactical game. What?
That's these are good points. You know what? I'm thinking. I think the element of surprise is what Nintendo loves. Remember back when the Wii came out, even before it came out, who would have predicted the Wii? I mean, it's everything is that. It's easy to see why they do it after they do it, but before they do it, I don't know that they're gonna do it. So even now, looking at the Peach game, I'm just thinking about peaches. I'm thinking about the Mario movie. So I'm thinking, of course, there's all this girl power going on with Princess Peach that people are hamming up. They probably thought, let's do a Peach. Let's do something for Peach in the next Direct. maybe, and then you have the. I mean, of course, the Mario one that they had to do a new Mario game after this Mario movie, but
Oh, yeah.
but it's again surprise. They had to surprise you somehow because they don't have the
Yes.
new console yet, so they have to do something. I mean, the last direct main attraction was Zelda, I imagine.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, and
Tears of the Kingdom was a big thing on that.
so now they're like, what do we do? So the next big thing was, well, the people are looking at the Mario games, but again, there are all these other things that are surprises to me also. But we're gonna add anything else, Dan? Or
Yeah, historically, they kind of go through phases. Whenever some one character gets a bit of attention, they try and throw something in direct just to keep attention. Like Metroid was popular a number of years ago. When they announced they were doing Metroid Prime 4, we just saw a picture. It was like, oh, a picture of Metroid Prime 4. They're making Prime 4. And then we saw nothing. And then the next thing we saw was them say, sorry, the game's terrible. We're going to start again. And, you know, a lot of people were very upset, but most of the fans were like, okay, we want this game and we want it to be very, very good. If it's not good, okay, take more time. But we still haven't heard anything. You know, it's been years now and nothing's dropped. So some people are waiting for the Metroid. Some people are waiting for Pokemon. Everyone's waiting for the game that they want to see.
absolutely,
But
yeah.
it's been a while since we've had something big with actual Mario game. You know, the last big Mario game that came out was the.
Odyssey.
It was no. After Odyssey, you had the cat game, 3D World, and then they had Bowser's Island. I think the last thing was the special, was kind of the Mario 3D collection, re-releasing Mario 64 and Sunshine and Galaxy. And it's been a while, you know, but the film's come out, so we needed a Mario thing to come out.
Absolutely.
I didn't expect Wonder, though. I did not expect Wonder. I kind of hoped that we'd get some more Peach, because I think I'm the only person I know who played and completed the Princess Peach game.
Oh, right. Well, there you go. Professor Suzuka, did you play the Peach game before?
Which game?
Peach.
Peach.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was on the DS.
DS. Oh, never.
All
No.
right. Well, it's only you, Dan.
I liked it.
I'm gonna
cute,
play it,
It was
man.
funny.
Definitely. Sorry, let me jump to question 3 because Professor Suzuka and your time limits. All right.
Yes.
In fact, my eyes are burning out thanks to me throwing them down in a fit of rage over your happy family. All right. Now, Professor Suzuka, question 3. Based on the information provided during the Nintendo Direct, which game are you most eager to play and why? So, which game are you looking forward to? I mean, there are many here. There's, of course, Wonder, but anything else here that you really want to play? I mean, we're going to get to Pikmin soon, but is there anything else you want to play?
So
Oh, nice.
I
Specs there.
want. Yes, I want to play Pikmin 4.
Okay. Oh,
Yes. So
wait. I'm sorry. Have you said you want to play it? As in, like, you have not played it yet?
Yes. So I have never played Pikmin title.
Oh.
So this new title, Pikmin 4,
Mhm.
I'd like to play.
Whoa. Are you saying that you... So, Japanese mother, have you not played it yet?
Yes.
Oh, no. Our commentary
Oh, wow.
today will be speculative.
Oh yeah, I gotta say, because I'm the same. I have never played a Pikmin game. I think they look cute, and a lot of my friends like Pikmin. They were very excited for Pikmin 4. But
Yes.
I thought you played Pikmin. I wanted you to tell me about Pikmin so I could. I'm like,
So I know, or I played only Smash Bros. Pikmin and Orima.
Oh, dear. So we're all in the same
Smash,
boat
yeah.
now.
Their title, but I have never played the Pikmin.
Oh dear.
So,
Wait a
yes.
minute. Maybe I have. No, I haven't. Sorry, guys. Me neither. So we're all complete virgins. All right, never mind. We haven't played.
Great term.
Yes, we have not played the game. Oh dear. So why do you want to play Pikmin in particular, Professor?
So, but so Pikmin 4, we can available play and more afternoon
Afternoon?
and night. So
In the
yes,
game world.
last title
Mm.
1, 2, 3. So we can't play on the night in the game because it is dangerous. But this title, so new title Pikmin 4, we can play morning and night.
What?
Yeah,
So
in the tree.
yes, new gimmick. New gimmick?
I suppose
Yes.
so. But
There are like,
that's
there are
cheeky, I
like
suppose.
ghost Pikmin
Yes,
you can
ghost.
use.
Yes, so that's why the Pikmin's game is spread the
The whole day.
yes, it's a whole day, so we can play and explore more.
I'm sorry. I think I misunderstand. So you're talking about times in real life or in
No.
Oh,
In game.
yeah, I was
game.
gonna say, huh? When you said
Yeah.
dangerous, so how is it dangerous if you play?
No.
So
As I understand it, the first game you played during the day, but the daylight was basically the timer. You had so many days, and you had to achieve a goal before that time limit. Now, so night was too dangerous. You couldn't go out. So when it was morning, afternoon, evening, and then you had to retreat back to your base. And then later games they had caves. I think caves or buildings you could go inside at night. But now it's the first time where, hey, it's at night, but we're giving you weapons and Pikmin that can fight at night.
Yeah.
So, it looks exciting. I'm interested in the dog,
Look,
the Poochie.
Pucci.
Poochie, yeah, he looks interesting.
So
wait
in
a-
Japanese,
yeah, yes, Pochi,
the dog name is Ochin.
Ochi.
Watching.
Ochin.
What's the localization for that?
Localization, please.
I don't know, but as such.
All right. Well, I did want to speak about localization today, but because we don't have much time, please do some research on it and tell us some more.
Yes. Okay.
I mean, Ochi, is Och a famous dog or a kind of a tool or an object?
Well, remember, Gamidan, I think Professor Suzuka told us last time, Japanese have, just like that Pokemon that we were talking about, that new ghost Pokemon, his name is Pochi something, right? It's so Japanese tend to say Puchi as in Pochi, but they reword it to sound like Pochi. So maybe they just took the P off.
Maybe.
But in any case, why? Yeah, we still want to go into. All right, we got to definitely talk about localization next time, Professor. And thanks for that. Your little presentation there on the Pokemon localization. We definitely. Oh,
Now I searching for Ochin,
oh, thank
the
you.
name. So, maybe, this name is come from Japanese dialect.
Oh,
So,
dialect.
Yes.
Ah.
So, Kansai region.
Okay.
Kansai, like Osaka or Kyoto.
But what does it mean?
So it means sit.
Sit, like telling your dog
Yes.
to sit.
Yes, yes.
That's interesting, eh, Dan?
Or-
It means
You do sit on the dog because the dog can swim. The dog
Ah,
swims
so
in the
we
water in the
sit-
video, and we sit on the dog. Also,
so
the main character's name is Olimar. The first main character is Olimar.
Need
So
to-
all Ochi might just be a reference to him.
Ochin, Ochin is direct about it means so sit down neatly.
Neatly, yeah.
Neatly.
And as
So
Dan's,
in Japanese, not standard, but Japanese says きちんと, but きちんと. But so Kansai dialect is Ochin.
Kansai. So this is
Kansai's crazy, man. They have their own language.
yeah.
So
I thanks very much for sharing the localized.
I'll research more.
Yeah, seriously, it's invaluable, and it does sound like Dan. I think you're right. There's something to the letter O. That is, I think, a connection. That is a connection there. There's another anime or show I know that has characters with same letter in their name. Has a running theme, but I forget it right now. But I guess I'll mention it when I remember. All right, we'll continue on that later. Professor, we got one more direct question. Question 4. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Were there any notable absences or omissions in the Nintendo Direct that you were expecting or hoping for? Personally, I was thought that they'd say something about a new console, but maybe I just thought no, there's not been enough buzz. I just thought maybe let's say, by the way, the new Switch is here and it's made it completely with hologram or something, or something silly. But no, I doubt that would happen. What do you think, Professor? Anything that you thought was missing?
So about Pokemon
Okay.
DLC. It's not many informations. Not enough, I think.
Okay, not enough
So,
information about the
yes,
DLC.
yes,
Yeah, it was very brief.
information.
I gotta say, the Pokemon, they just dropped it at the beginning quickly and moved on.
They showed, but they didn't tell us anything. Like lots of pictures, but what's happening?
Yes, new characters or come back Pokemons, maybe Pokemons, but
Yeah.
then it's release.
Yeah. Are we fighting Momotaro? What's happening?
That's interesting. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about. Excuse me. Yeah, we were just talking about the new DLC on the channel, and it's very interesting. When we started the direct, the first thing we saw were the new Pokemon. But yes, as we noticed, it was briefly touched on. But I mean, I guess there's so much else to talk about that they couldn't take too much time. But you know, I see what you're saying there. Maybe, I don't know, with Pokemon and the DLC. I don't know what. Okay, I see what you're saying. I was gonna say, what else could they say? But like you're saying,
I don't know. A hint. Tell us give us a teaser of the story. What are we gonna do in this place? We're going to this place. It's traditional Japanese. We can see a festival. Is it a holiday? Is it an event? What's happening?
this is true. Yeah, you're right.
So maybe
You know what? I agree.
new information is coming as a Pokemon Direct.
Maybe. Yeah, I say that
Maybe.
would be better for the actual Pokemon Direct as opposed to a Nintendo.
Oh my God, guys, when is the Pokemon Direct coming out? Sorry to interrupt. Do you know?
I don't know.
But definitely before 2024, right?
Yeah, it's this year.
All right, when it comes up, Professor Suzuka, if you can, I mean, Dan and I, we did a live stream, and it's pretty good. I'd love it if you, I don't know, if you're busy, we understand. But Dan, you know, as usual, if it's nighttime and we can do it, we'll see if we can hop on it quickly and just have a quick Pokemon live. But Professor, if you could be there, that would be great on the Pokemon, because we know you're a big fan of Pokemon, so a Pokemon live stream with you would be great for our audience. But for sure, we'll wait. We'll see. Maybe like Dan was saying, they were saving it for the Pokemon Direct live stream. And Professor, sorry, Dan, give me Dan. What about you? Anything you thought was missing?
Well, I'm speculating about the next console, but I'm still waiting on Metroid. To be fair, we got some great news about Pokemon. We got some fantastic new Mario games. Mario's getting a new game that looks great. Wonder. Peach is getting her own game. We're getting new Dragon Quest. We're getting new, classic games. Yay! This is great, but still waiting on Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, yeah.
Still waiting.
Metroid, yeah, I think when Nintendo doesn't look into it, we'll do it. We'll do a bit of research
Yeah.
today, and then we'll eat their lunch. Yeah. Everyone, that was
Yeah.
lovely. We're at the halfway mark here, so now, as you see, we're going to switch into Pikmin. If you can see on this direct, in about a few minutes, it's going to finish Dragon Quest and start talking about Pikmin. So, let's talk about Pikmin. Even though Professor Suzuka, you haven't played it, we thought you played it. Oh well, never mind. Let's all speculate. Professor Suzuka, I guess we'll go to you first, and then Dan, you'll come after. Question 1 for Pikmin, which is essentially question 5. Based on what you know about previous Pikmin games, what new features or improvements would you like to see in Pikmin 4? Professor, here it is, if you can see on the screen. Pikmin. Alright, sorry, I'm getting carried away. Oh, actually, I realized I've done something very terrible. I didn't spotlight everyone, which is going to be awful in the replay. Never mind. I'm sure our audience are loyal enough, and they'll forgive me for doing that, I hope. So, everyone, let's get back to business. Professor Suzuka, can you see question 1 on the Pikmin question I provided?
Number 1.
Yeah, so what, based on what you know about Pikmin games, what features do you expect to be in this thing we're looking at right now?
I don't actually I don't have
Any experience?
Yes, many experience and knowledge, but so I think
Wow.
Nintendo Switch. The new title is Nintendo Switch, so the graphic is very clear, I think.
Yeah, it looks very sharp, I must say, for the Switch. There goes Ochin. Can you see him? Yeah. Yeah, we sit on his back for sure. Kansai dialect localization. This this Game Boy Advance thing in there. That's such a nice touch, right? I mean,
Yes.
I remember I had one.
yeah. My God. In fact, do I still have it? No, I have one in the UK, in England. Oh, and it's still there. I'm gonna go and play it one day. And so, Gamer Dan, what do you think about? Sorry, what do you expect to be in this game?
Well, I'm excited that there's both an underground section. You can see here you go underground to like a building, so it changes location. But also, as the professor said, we've got a nighttime. It gets dark, and that changes the way things play. This is a fairly common trope in a lot of games, especially horror games or combat games, where at night the enemies become stronger, so you've got to be more careful. It's not an unknown concept, but it looks really interesting. Changes the way you play the game, gives you more time in the game. And I don't know if this is new or not, but I kind of like this 2-on-1. This is the versus game.
Ah, right, yeah.
That looks fun. That looks fun because you're not fighting one another. You're fighting to collect things. It's more of an RTS, a strategy game, as opposed to a fighting game.
Yeah, that element's a very effective one. It could even bring people together. It's a. I think the. How can I say this? I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but I got a feeling this game can appeal to girls and boys, or male and female, men and women. But people on both ends, if you will. I don't know. What do you feel? Well, we have Gamer Dan here and Professor Suzuka. Professor Suzuka, does this feel like a boys' game to you, or a girls' game, or anybody game?
But it is everybody game.
Was it always that way? I mean, because when Gamer Dan said strategy, my mind was thinking, like, oh wow, this was so cool. But my mind was thinking, guys would be into the strategy, but it just sort of feels so beautiful.
Cute.
Like the world, it's cheerful. It's got this. It reminds me of do you know Ariete from Ghibli?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, do you know? Yeah, too, Daniel.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Dan.
Mm.
The borrowers, right? Yeah, it's just that little it's that world that I think everyone can appreciate, even if it gets a bit technical. What I'm trying to say is, do you think this is quite a technical game, Dan? Or Gamer Dan? What do you think?
I think that Pikmin as a game can be played as a cute adventure, or can be played very strategically. The more you play it, the more you're comfortable with it. I mean, people who play 1, 2, and 3, the first 3 Pikmin games professionally, they play them over and over, have gotten very, very good at being strategic. Like, do that one, then that one, then that one, and that one, to maximize, as Professor Suzuka said, there's a time limit. You've only got the day to collect.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
you've got to be smart with your time, and that's a strategic element. So there are people who play these games really, really technically, but it's cute and it's fun, and you can play it just as a regular game, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I think you said it. Essentially, it's just a game, pretty much. I mean by that it's a complete game, as in it appeals to the art side and the strategy side.
Yeah,
It's
I
quite
think
a-
good games, especially really popular games, you choose how to play them. So you can play them in different ways, and that way they're popular for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have nothing else to add, actually, to be honest. The only thing I want to know, both of you, you both have Switches, of course. Have you downloaded the demo? Did you get the demo of Pikmin? You got it? Gamer Dan's got it. Professor Suzuka, you don't have the
No.
demo, but why?
And I don't have enough time.
All right, fair enough. I guess Gamer Dan, you will get first dibs. There you go.
Apparently so. I downloaded it, but I shouldn't, because the Switch account, when you log into the Switch and you have your Nintendo account, it keeps a record of all the games you bought, especially digitally, so you can download them again. But it also records all the demos. So I've got a whole mess of demos, lots of demos that I'm never going to play. I own the game. I bought the game because I like the demo, but I can't get rid of the demo. So I've got 2 of them on my list.
I see. Sure.
It's as a compulsive collector, it's like it's cluttering. Like, yeah, my list is huge. I just want to get rid of a few of these.
Got it. Well, everyone, that was lovely. I guess we'll jump into question 2. Well, which is questions 7? No, 6 technically overall. Professor Suzuka, looking at Pikmin again. Excuse me. What do you think the main? Sorry, everybody. I got a terrible cough. Okay. Whew. All right, people. Sorry, Professor Suzuka. Okay, then done. Question 2 of the Pikmin questions. Question 6. Speculating about Pikmin 4, what do you think the main objective or goal of the game will be? Now, I guess we already know, but
Yeah.
yeah,
You mentioned it in the direct, I think.
yeah. Did you want to add? Shall we skip the question process, Suzuka?
Oh, number 2.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything or?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll skip that, everyone. Next, question 7. Question 3. I'll pick the Pikmin question. From the information released so far, do you think Pikmin 4 will introduce any innovative gameplay mechanics or unique Pikmin abilities? If yes, what are your speculations? So what do you? I mean, we've seen we've seen the gameplay in the direct, but is there anything here that you think will stand out? I guess that's a way to expand on the question. Any answers to question 3 there, Professor Suzuka?
Mm,
Penny is on the run, entangled in a chaotic audition that veered way off script. She's managed to make
So actually, I don't have experience, so
Yeah.
I can't
I think
expect more. But So only the direct or information. So
Fair enough.
many
Oh,
many gimmick is installed.
oh, many
Installed.
games are in stores?
Many gimmick.
Oh, gimmicks.
Yes, gimmicks.
Many gimmicks in store. I tell you that word is quite cheapening, I suppose. But I don't know. What do you think, Gamer Dan? Any comments on that question?
I think that each of the Pikmin games has kind of added more to them.
Uh-oh, my camera's
and-
gone off. Sorry, guys. I'll be back. 3, 2. Keep talking, Gamer Dan. I can hear you. My camera just...
They've added to the Pikmin games. They've added more different Pikmin. The first one had red, blue, and yellow, I think, and then they added purple and rock, and now you've got Ghost. And I think that they're so cute and they're so interesting fighting enemies at night. So, I was just having a quick look because I think they're going to release Pikmin plushies soon, and the Ghost plushies are going to be popular. So
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, no.
I can't say much about the Pikmin advances because I haven't played any of the games. Everything I know is simple, just kind of stuff I've seen on adverts or people have told me. But I do know that the Pikmin now are able to be given more complex instructions. The first one was throw the Pikmin, and then if the Pikmin sees something, it collects it, or it sees an enemy, it attacks it. That's
Right.
it. But as the games got on, you could start giving them specific directions. Go there, then there, do this, then that. I think that's going to be a bit of a game changer for the game, for people who play Pikmin more strategically. Because you're able to send the Pikmin to do multiple things, and then go over here and send those Pikmin to do multiple things. So you can be doing many things all at the same time.
I get what
Now,
you're saying.
I don't know this for certain. I don't have a lot of experience with Pikmin, but what little I know, I think that could be kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean,
Inviting kids into the strategy game at a young age, get them playing multiple things, and then, hey, get them playing some StarCraft.
I like what you're saying. What you're saying is kind of going outside of the scope of what the Direct covered. So, especially when you're talking about plushies and so on. So it sounds like the way the game will be played will be inspired by the culture around the game itself. Is that?
I think that they're going to just add elements to it, but they're not going to deviate too far from the game's original design. You land on a place, you have to collect items. That's the goal. It's nice, it's simple, it works. But they are thinking, hey, how do you collect? That's going to be changing.
It reminds me of the Tears of the Kingdom, the game being vertical as opposed to horizontal, as Breath of the Wild was.
Yeah,
New ways to play. And I guess, like everybody, sorry about my camera settings screwing things up. Like we were saying, the Nintendo console cycle at the moment is getting the most out of the Switch as they can before they bring out the new console. I'm just, wow. I'm looking at even how they're promoting things like WarioWare right now on the Direct. It just makes me think of what could we do next in terms of gameplay? When you have a simple game like Pikmin, go and collect, and so on. It makes, I guess it makes us wonder, how else can we do that? But like you're saying, it maybe it's not so much hardware. Maybe it's not just about the console and how you do it through what button you press, but very funny. But how you play within the story. Oh, that makes sense. How? Yeah. So people, that's a great response there. I guess we'll do the final question now. First, Suzuka, have you had a go of that Weeble Wobbling game?
Mario?
Yeah, have you
So only touch Mario
How about
on DS.
Okay, I see. What about you, Gamer Dan? You too?
Oh, I'm a big fan of WarioWare. I'm a fan of Wario as a character. I played Super Mario Land 2 just to death. Like I completed it multiple times. I loved that original game on the Game Boy, and that was the introduction of Wario.
Yeah.
Then there were the Wario Land games where he was the protagonist and he went around with his shoulder charge.
Yeah.
Love them. And then when WarioWare came out, oh, that was so much fun.
Man.
Played it on the Game Boy Advance, on the DS, on the 3DS, on the Wii, and now it's the new WarioWare. I'm stoked. I'm excited. It's that pick up a play, and especially it's such a fun party game. Getting a bunch of friends together, getting a few drinks inside of you, and then just trying to keep up. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I am excited.
Guys, I am. What I'm gonna do, because Professor Suzuka's leaving soon, I'm just gonna drop this question here, and the Gamer Dan, I've got a few extras for you as we go on. Professor Suzuka, if you see question 4 from the Pikmin questions, which is question 8, considering the success of the previous Pikmin games, what are your expectations for Pikmin 4 in terms of sales, critical reception, and overall player satisfaction? I'd love to hear your answer on this, or we'd love to hear it, but or if you want, you can expand to talking about the Switch in general. But first of all, do you have an answer to that question?
Number 4.
Mm.
I think.
Will it be popular in Japan?
Yes. So, so many people, so Pikmin's fan, will buy it, but like me, so I have never played Pikmin's title, so new Pikmin's player come and buy it. So fans is increasing.
It sounds like just like this. Look at this Mario Wonder thing here. Just like this, you have to prepare for new audiences who don't know the old things, and like the Mario movie, yeah, most people know Mario, but not everyone has played Mario. Surprisingly, it seems like that's the most popular played game. But of course, some people have not played Mario. Some people have not played Pikmin. When you make something for a new generation, it has to be for today's standard. And of course, with the Switch, we are pushing, we're stretching, it's getting as much as we can, like orange juice, squeezing an orange, getting as much out of it as we can, just until we finally bring out the new console. The Switch has been out for 7 years now, Dan?
Yeah.
7 years.
I say console generations. We mentioned, we talked before. Console generations are usually about 7 years, but the consoles now are so powerful, so technically powerful. It's they're going to last longer. Generations are going to have to be longer.
That's a good point. Yeah, otherwise it would be a waste of everything. I mean, I guess they have to make their money back and as much as possible. And when it comes to it's funny that because this is why game consoles are so powerful, because you want to get as much as possible out of it in the years to come. You want to make a game that can do more than the previous game, even though it's on the same platform, So this is the same Switch, but you're putting a game on it that's more powerful. It's like, Professor Suzuka, do you remember Donkey Kong 64 and Nintendo 64?
I know, but I have never played.
I see. Well, on the Nintendo 64, as Daniel and I would know, there's like this expansion pack. There's a special, it's like a cartridge you put in the front of your Nintendo 64, and it's supposed to make it stronger. Although I'm curious about that. But it's like
it added RAM. It gave the games more, the machine more RAM to play games, and some games you needed it. You couldn't play without it because the game was too big.
I think Donkey Kong 64 was one of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so with what's going on with the Switch now, they are, I guess, really at pushing maybe this is the last cry until they make the new console. And just like with Zelda, I mean, when they make the next Nintendo machine console or gaming machine, what we call it in Japan, you're gonna put Tears of the Kingdom on it, yeah, and then it'll be a better Tears of the Kingdom. But I don't know. This this just gets me wondering, indeed, what comes next in terms of satisfying an audience. Like you're saying, Professor Suzuka, to win over new people, we have to attract them however we can, and people have so much choice now. Professor Dan, Gamer Dan, but I suppose one day, who knows? What would you say on the matter?
I think that gaming as a hobby, as an industry, is very young. It has not been around that long. I mean, some of us, I'm almost as old as gaming as all of it. You know, I was born in 1986, so the middle of the 1980s, and at that point, gaming was still very, very young. You know, technology was fractured. It was different companies making different technologies. Now, in the West, gaming crashed. The market crashed because there were so many companies all releasing their own console. Everyone wanted their own console, and there were no good games. Games were terrible. So the market crashed. Nintendo stepped in and made a console that everyone made for. It put all the games under one bracket, and that changed the way gaming worked. But that was console gaming. There was also PC gaming, which just allowed for more powerful games, but you could play with the settings. It was people who were more technically minded, you know. So we had console gaming and PC gaming, but now it's just gaming. You play the same games on the PC as you do on the console. You can add settings to your console just like your PC. And PC gaming has come to handhelds. This is a PC. This is a PC gaming device, not a console. Yeah, Steam Deck. So the lines of what a console or what a gaming device is have ultimately blurred. Anything could be a gaming device. And it means that for Nintendo to keep pushing the limit, to keep being the best, company, they've got to be clever. They've got to release smart, strong machines. The Switch was a brilliant idea. People loved their handheld. They loved the Game Boy. They loved the DS, the 3DS. Nintendo was very popular and very profitable with handheld. They also had their consoles, which were doing worse and worse. The Wii was popular, but not for gamers. It was popular for generally. Lots of people's grandmothers played the Wii, but no, they didn't play the GameCube and they didn't play the Wii U. So Nintendo had to be smart and put them together. Handheld and console, the Switch, genius. It was great, a good console. It played well, and that you could play many different games in many different ways. Excellent. But where do you go after that?
Ooh.
What do you do? So with so many options to gamers and so much riding on the next generation, I mean, can they make a new console that's as popular as the Switch? I don't think so. They're going to have to make like a Switch 2 to keep the popularity of the Switch going.
I suppose. Well, Professor Suzuka, I guess we gotta let you go. You have to go now, Professor Suzuka, or?
So, new console.
Oh, I'd love to hear your. Do you want to give your thoughts on what you think will come next?
What do you think the next thing will be? What will Nintendo do?
Quickly comment.
Sure.
Mhm.
So I think Nintendo Switch is more longer than other console because it can Gemadan said so we can use two type, so like DS and to connect TV and play game like Wii. So I think new console maybe improve the function, but so the type of console is not different.
Okay.
Mm.
That's probably it.
Improve functionality, make it a smoother, stronger
Yes,
Switch, but
smooth.
the same style.
That's probably you're
And
probably
graphic
right.
is more clear.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. This is an interesting perspective. Thank you so much. We have Gamerdan and I. We're both from UK. We have a different understanding of the gaming market. But I love that because your perspective from Japan is very direct. You know, pardon the pun. So that's interesting. Nintendo sometimes they prioritized the gaming function over the graphic quality function. Nintendo, they're not like PlayStation or even Microsoft Xbox. They're not trying to just make the super sharp image. They just want a super fun game. So, but at the same time, sometimes your game can't be fun if the graphics are too bad. You know, so you have to. I mean, of course, no, I don't.
Tell
I
that
don't,
to Stardust Valley
all right, no.
players or Minecraft.
All right. All right, exactly. Truth be told, I disagree with the idea that you have to be look on the surface level. I believe that you can have a game with no graphics, really, and it can still be fun. Because that's the heart of gaming. It's the it's the ability to connect with your machine, your console, and it comes down to the story, the IP. This is what I think Nintendo is about. And the IP again could be super low graphics, very retro, and it can still beat other companies because the game is at their heart. But improved functionality, well, I have to say I don't know what that looks like yet, but I want to talk with you next week. Professor Suzuka, will you be here next week? Next week, can you come to the
Sorry,
next week? No,
I can't join next week.
that's fine. Just whenever you're available, just let us know. Cool. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks for joining us today. I guess you have to run, right? All right. Well, Professor Suzuka, take care. Have a great day, and thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.
Yeah, lovely seeing you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Take
very
care.
much.
See you next time. Peace.
See you. Thank you.
Well, Gamer Dan, it's you and I. So I did
And
want
then there
to
were two.
Yeah, man. I did want to expand on a few things you brought up that are quite interesting. Now, first of all, before I get down any rabbit hole, you mentioned that you're looking forward to something in the department of Samus and Metroid. Shall we?
Yeah.
Oh, now are those blue light specs?
They are.
Yeah, I recommend them, man. It's they
Good for
yeah.
a good night's sleep. I look at screens for work and for play, so I need them.
Yeah, for sure. This is it right now. I mean, I got these from my mother-in-law actually, yeah, and they're a bit too small for my face, but I'll take them over not having them. But yeah, I tell you, it's yeah, important we take care of our health, man. These machines are gonna burn us out if we don't. No, like I said, yeah, Dan. Shall we look up a video on something to do with Metroid, or should we just
Sure.
talk? All right. Let's have a look.
You can just put something on the background, something Metroidy.
So what? How about you give me a recommendation, like video we can stick up here?
Well, Metroid's been a tumultuous title, contentious series, because while it's always achieved high critical reception, it looks good, it plays great. Super Metroid is the definitive speedrunning game. You know, they've never sold well. They've never been profitable. It's almost like the dark sheep of the of the Nintendo family, because Nintendo will often make a loss while gaining credibility, gaining acclaim, and gamer cred, but not making the money, not getting the financial backing. Mario is a cash cow. Put the Mario's face on something and people will probably buy it, but Nintendo doesn't splay him around as much as they used to. They keep him back and they keep him polished. So now Mario is a mark of quality. Whack his face on something and it's going to be reasonably good. Even the Mario versus Rabbids thing, that was people, when they announced that, there were a lot of people scratching their head and going, what the hell are they doing? They're giving Mario to Ubisoft to work with the Rabbids? But that game was became a massive hit, and it made their money back. But Samus has never been profitable, which is a shame, because there is such depth to her as a character, to her setting. She's the ultimate evolution of what a Nintendo game could be when you're talking maturity. Mario, Yoshi, these may be quality games, but they're kind of aimed at kids. The film was indicative of this. It was a great kids movie. Great movie, but it was definitely for kids. There was no depth to it whatsoever. But then you've got your Zeldas. Zeldas deal with a little bit darker content. We have genuine threat, genuine concern, some body horror in previous incarnations.
Into violence.
Again, it's kind of fantasy, The good guy wins, the princess is saved. It's still kind of teeny, it dips its toe into the dark, murky waters of ambiguity, but it doesn't go swimming. Metroid is the diver, is in the deep end, going head first. You are a lone hunter on a world that will kill you against financially and technologically superior foes that want to murder you. That's not, we're going to capture you and put you in a cage. No, they want to kill you. And most of the flora and fauna wants to eat you.
Right.
But you are this brave, brilliant hero who, back in the 80s, turned out to be a freaking woman.
I don't know how you presented
what kind of 1-2 punch of adult themes was this? It was, hey, we got Mario, he's fighting a dinosaur. Oh, we've got Zelda, he's fighting a pig lord. Here's the chick. What does she have to do? She has to take on the monsters.
Yeah.
And you know what? The series is great. There isn't a bad one amongst them. I mean, yeah, maybe Federation Force, the kind of spin-offs aren't great, but each of the Metroid games have been fantastically well-told, well-crafted games that people go back to over and over again. But there aren't that many of them. There just aren't, because they're not profitable. People don't buy them, which is a damn shame. And it's what a lot of fans were worried about when they released Metroid Dread, the latest canonical story. It was it was literally Metroid 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One story. It is an ongoing canon. And it was the end of that canon. It bookmarked the end of those 5 stories. We can have a brand new story now. A Metroid Prime series was a self-contained story. 1, 2, 3 all fed into one another, but it started and it finished.
For sure. Man, Dan, this is a nice... I guess this, if we were giving direct... I guess we are indirectly, but we're promoting the game. But if we were like Santa's promoters, that intro you gave, that really kicks ass.
If someone is new to Metroid, I thoroughly recommend going and playing Super Metroid. You don't have to play the first 2. You should, but you don't have to. I mean, if you've got access to a Game Boy Advance, play Metroid Zero. It's a remake of the original, and it's polished. It's a fantastic introduction to the world. But just playing Super Metroid, it stands up to this day. It's an SNES game that is still beloved, and it's a great game. And if you like that game, it just opens the door to these dark, gritty, morally dubious worlds where a single protagonist is against overwhelming foes, but ultimately she's not always the good guy. She's the hero, but she's wiping out planets. She's taking out settlements. She's acting not entirely as you would expect a hero to act. It's for the greater good, essentially.
It's a ton of inversions in this thing. In fact, I don't really I tell you one thing about I haven't finished a Metroid game, to be honest, but I must say, just take considering that wiping out planets, that's pretty awful. It reminds me of Vegeta. I mean, if you think about it, he's been doing Vegeta, of course, from good old Dragon Ball. Although he, I don't know if you can say repented, but he definitely came to the good side. There you go. You've come in the light. You were in shadow for a second, but it's okay. The notion of doing that is really cold. But again, it inverts everything. It inverts what I mean. By the end of the game, you realize that she's a lady altogether. She's a lady.
Yeah.
You got she's already broken all these norms of what you thought the hero would be in the first place. I mean, but again, before Lara Croft came on the scene, she was she was
the protagonist. There were a few other female protagonists in smaller games. You know, it's not like they just didn't exist. They just weren't very prevalent. They didn't have nearly as much mainstream appeal or big marketing pushes as Samus did. Samus was gaming's first lady. And I mean that in a double entendre, not just like the first number one. As in, like, she's the first lady of gaming.
Man,
the president is Mario, but the first lady is definitely Samus.
Dude, man, what can I do with? I want to say to my hip hop audience is bars. As I say, when you say something that sounds so lyrically clever, if you will.
Drop the beat.
My gosh, she is the first lady. My God. You know, she reminds me, I guess, oh boy, we've said a lot without actually putting the video up. Maybe we should just take off this screen share for the moment. She reminds me of Shenmue. Shenmue in that there's a lot that went into getting it out just because it was somebody's idea. That was like, let's do it. I just had this idea in my mind, let's make this. And it gets a cult following. Of course. Despite how many haters Shenmue has, also it definitely has a cult following.
Absolutely. It's recognized as a fantastic game. You know what they tried to do, what they pioneered, well ahead of everyone else. You know, the kind of gameplay tropes that we see now. You know, time-based locations. I'm a big fan of the Dead Rising series, and that's just basically Shenmue with zombies.
Wow. Yep. Yeah. These are. I don't know why these things don't occur to me, but yeah, that's it. Man, you're very good at sound bites. I think taking the essence of something and whittling it down to one nice summarizing sentence. For sure, dude. And therefore, the money doesn't necessarily come out in droves. Because it's like, well, labor of love. I don't know. It's one of those things you want to bring up.
I think initially it was a labor of love. The first one that came out, Samus was just a name. It was a protagonist, but the oppressive, dark, gritty atmosphere that it created. I mean, the first one was a brutal game. It really was a brutal game, but people liked it. People got off on that kind of difficulty and that bleak isolation, or the isolation of a single hero in an overwhelmingly alien environment. And some people who play these games want to go deep. They want to really get good at what they do. GG, baby, get good. Or good game, one of the two. But it was a good game. I think that Samus and the first Metroid may have kind of laid seeds in the gaming zeitgeist that are now being reaped by From Software. That kind of overwhelmingly aggressive, oppressive environment. Everything's out to kill you. Everything can kill you. You can't take a hit from a random enemy a number of times and then walk away from it. No, you're on guard at all times. And then when you meet a boss, that's a test of skill, But at the time, there wasn't a lot. Maybe there wasn't a large enough audience for it. Maybe there weren't enough people willing to invest in that kind of game to make a profit. Maybe the game didn't hit the right bells. Maybe they were pitching it to the wrong audience. There's a whole mess of ideas people could pitch of why Metroid was critically beloved, but financially just a drain on Nintendo. And every time they bring out a new one, people go, "We love it, it's amazing," and no one buys it. So Nintendo puts it away for again.
I don't want to say this, but it's almost like the WNBA. But anyway,
It's good shit. They do some great stuff. Women in America, women's football. Those players are winning world tournaments. You got women's basketball, women's baseball, women's sports as general. They are some talented players. They do some amazing stuff, but there's no money in it.
My God, with the exceptions of, I suppose, UFC, the fighting. I think some things can be rehauled to be made profitable. Again, that's like women's UFC. When Ronda Rousey came on the scene, she was making them a lot of money, and that sounds sexist, but they're sexy sports, that even if
bras and panty matches,
or even I guess I don't, of course, or things that people associate with at least females are a bit more like gymnastics or synchronized swimming. I
don't get that.
Yeah,
it's like river dance. I just don't get it. Kudos to you. It's a great sport and there's talent involved. I just don't get it.
I love honesty, mate. And this is it. So ultimately, hey, it comes down to if there's an audience. You got to give the audience what they want. So there's some things that when men do it, it just doesn't get the audience. There's some things that when women do it, doesn't get the audience. So now look at the Mario movie, right? The first Mario movie, when it was made, and I'm just thinking about in my head how to chop up this. Maybe we just put the whole after post Suzuka discussion. I have to leave that on the uncut on YouTube. But anyway, the Super Mario movie, the first one. Shoot. Now till now, I haven't fully see. I did see it, but I didn't watch it properly. I just remember walking out the room a lot as a kid. And now
the first Mario movie.
Yeah, the first Mario.
Oh, wait, the Bob Hoskins one?
Yeah. So
I I fell in love with Luigi's actor. What's his name? He
definitely is.
Is it that Latinx guy? Mario movie. Bob Hoskins. Yeah, there he is. John Leguizamo. I freaking fell in love with him. He's like one of my favorite actors. The man has done some amazing roles, but he can ham it up. When he goes kitsch or camp, he nails it because he was in this and he was in Spawn. And
oh yeah, oh my God, he's in Spawn, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a clown.
Yeah, he was a clown.
He was the clown.
I remember hearing his name, but that's the Spawny he's on, man.
That's the guy. That was him. He's great. But you say about the movie.
Yeah, the movie. So the first movie that was made in a time when the same way that there was a video game crash, there was a video game movie crash, almost, so to speak. This Street Fighter movie. Now the Street Fighter movie at least was commercially successful, but almost for the wrong reasons. That is to say, people kind of wanted to see. It's a bit like the Barbra Streisand effect. It isn't like.
Yeah, they heard it was terrible and they wanted to see how terrible it was.
Yeah, and as a result, it became so bad it was good, as many people would say, that it was like, you know what, this is. It's so hilarious that I'm gonna watch it again. It became like something a guilty pleasure for me, and my bro is probably right now he's in the UK watching it because recently he just told me this.
The fact that it was based around Guile and Bison, and they got the cute girl to play Cammy. What's her name?
Kylie Minogue.
Kylie Minogue and her gorgeous rear end, obviously Cammy, but just Bison hamming it up.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I know it's something
glorious.
And that's a special time in our lives, you know. That's the era of the Jackie Chan movies in this when he started to make his way into the West.
Yeah.
Before he came, but I mean, when he's getting a bigger and bigger presence. Hong Kong, the Mortal Kombat movie. So that was all happening.
It's back when people, back when they're happy, but people still thought that kung fu films were kung fu as opposed to dance.
Yeah. I remember that one, man. Yes. So exactly. You got that, and now the Mario movie. Again, I didn't fully see it, but it didn't win over gamers. Now, what's happened is the gaming world, Nintendo in particular, has gotten to a point where you can bring out the Mario movie and it can break records over the place. Um, and sometimes the audience, I don't say they're mature, but either the audience matures or the marketing
Expands.
team gets expand, I suppose, and then the marketing team gets or gets more savvy in terms of how to go for it, or both, or something else. But I think, like, long story short, I think that there is a way to sell Metroid today, even the games, more than they were ready to be received when they started. I think you don't need to keep having it. Not you, but one doesn't need to keep having excuses as to why Metroid isn't selling more. There are more ways to. Now again, I know it's easier said than done because Nintendo, they're the ones that have to balance out how much money to give each project and so on. But if they wanted to, make at least a movie of it, they can do it properly. I think, and especially with all the girl power that Peach has brought.
The loaded word there is properly. I mean, when I mentioned that Metroid was not a seller, that's historically. Recently, Metroid Dread, the fifth one, dropped, and that sold gangbusters. It was phenomenally successful. The people, it was critically acclaimed, it was financial success, it was beloved. People have been chomping at the bits because the Metroid Primes were very, very profitable, but there just haven't been a lot of Metroids because it's totally out of sync with Nintendo. But now that the audience has grown, now that mainstream is not the thing that the awkward kid did, it's the thing that everyone does. It's the thing that, it's a common product in the house. You've got your TV, you've got your white goods, your refrigerator, your cooker, and you've got your console. It's Nintendo pushed that by calling it a family entertainment system as opposed the Famcom as opposed to a gaming platform. Very, very savvy move. But gaming is not done by awkward kids anymore. Everyone games. Housewives game on Bejeweled. Dads play FPSs in their downtime at work. The kids play it, and it's a massive media market. It's $1 billion industry. Everyone
Multi-billion,
games.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's easier to reach people now, but finding the right tone is difficult because Metroid also historically has really, I don't want to get us in trouble with the sound censors, but really defecated the bed in this regard. I mean, most people have heard of The Other M. Metroid The Other M. Wii game with one of the creators of the original Metroid that was the first time we had a speaking role for Samus. She was famously a silent protagonist, just like Link.
Right.
They gave her a speaking role, but they failed in localization. There are a lot of hot takes, a lot of people talking about how terrible the game was. How could you make a game with only a single controller? It was a terrible idea. But she was portrayed very specifically. She was portrayed in a very, very Japanese style. She was supposed to be the stoic, calm, collected hero, a la the Akira Kurosawa. His heroes would enter the temple where the bandits have taken over, or the seven samurai being besieged, protecting the town, and they wouldn't show anything. Clear faces, because that was representative of their intensity, their focus, their skill. When others broke, they stayed. They were unbreakable. But when the game hit international audiences, we got a Samus that talked with a monotone about emotional concepts in the same tone and pace throughout the whole thing. And she sounded alien. She sounded like she was traumatized. This was a PTSD survivor. She was talking about babies and familial relationships to authority figures like this, and not knowing how it would be taken by anyone who had emotions.
Yeah.
And
felt like-
it collapsed. It ruined the game. People loathe this game because she sounds like a petulant child berating her stepdad when it was supposed to be an independent woman being reconnecting with a familial figure. This inability to localize effectively, to be portrayed internationally, destroyed the game and its credibility. And it was such a massive flop that Nintendo shelved Metroid for a fair while.
It's like you're on a timeout. They did the same thing with the Mario movie. People, all right, listen, you're on a timeout. You know what you did.
Yeah. You know what you did. They know what they did. No, none of that. No, shame on you.
Dude, that is a summary. It sounds again about the again the whole thing about Samus with the reveal being a woman, being a symbol of the I'll say feminism, girl power thing. It's I very much I love strong women characters in that not because I don't expect women to be strong, but it's being when they have the game girl and the Game Boy. It's like I'm not saying I want more game girls, but what I'm trying to say is growing up feeling that games were just for boys. It was one of those isolating things because of course I had a tomboy sister who's very much into games. Now things have broken out so much. When you get people who are typically predisposed to thinking games are not for me or and so on, characters like Samus, around people I knew at least, were like a positive influence on girls getting into games, and then my community of gamers got bigger, and I was like, oh, that's real neat. That being said, there's a how do I say this?
It's funny you mention that because current statistics show that 51% of gamers are female. There are more women playing games than men. And this has almost always been the way. There has always been almost 50-50 split. But gaming was promoted as a male thing, was a boy thing, because they were trying to shed themselves of the outsider image. Gaming didn't want to be a counterculture, didn't want to be, not a counterculture, because that's always been cool, but it didn't want to be a nerd thing. It didn't want to be the awkward kid thing. Because classically, gaming was done on PCs, and early gaming was done by people in basements, hunched over a screen like a poor loser who didn't go out and party or have fun. They just kind of gamed. And that image, they had to break that image, so they went hard on the boy, let's do it, and sold the boy image to try and break that stereotype. But unfortunately, what happened was it became like a boys thing to do, or at least it was represented as that thing, which meant that if you were a girl, no, good girls don't do what boys do.
That's a good thing. Good observation.
But the trouble is that gaming has always been a multi-generational thing. It's a multi-gender thing.
Exactly.
Like I say, the biggest gamer I knew growing up was my mate's grandmother.
See, that's
Seriously,
it. And even
when I was
today,
when I was at high school, when I was young freshman at high school, one of my best friends, I went to his grandmother's house briefly because it's same city. We were bumming around the city, having a bit of fun. We popped into his grandmother's where he could pick up a change of clothes, and she was there. This tiny little old woman with curlers in her hair, in a blanket, crushing Zelda: Link to the Past. I'm like, how did you find that? What the hell's that? And she's like, oh yes, I found that in the 3rd dungeon. I'm like,
this is
what?
yeah. I think this is, and this, this is bringing us back towards the. I guess we'll do about 15 minutes. This is bringing us to the overall point I was thinking about when it comes to the tail end of what we left off with Professor Suzuka, whose mother is a gamer. Now we just found out. Is where Nintendo's going next. That is to say, I think the secret to Nintendo's progression is tapping into untapped avenues. I mean, of course, the Wii, one of the best examples is the Wii, of course, the casual gamer beating out the others. But going on from there to how do I say? Well, it's not just new audiences, but converting people. Not to like you some sort of a cult or anything, but getting people to look at things in a different way. Sometimes the untapped audience members are not just people who have been overlooked, but people who didn't realize that they liked it because they stopped themselves from liking it. Like you're saying, girls probably would like gaming more if they gave it a try. So, some girls, and which we've come to realize, thankfully, today, with today's generation, it seems that they have realized. So
it's getting people who wouldn't normally do it. I think you really hit the nail on the head there. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, Nintendo historically and very famously has always had a blue sky marketing strategy. They didn't push to get new gamers. They just tried to reinforce the old gamers. They sold to their own audience, and if you had to join that audience, and then you were sold to, they didn't really try to get it mass media. That's why when the Wii happened, it was such a big shock. It was like, whoa, everyone is playing. It's not just the fans who we've always sold to. We've always released products that catered to what our fans wanted. We've always tried to make it engaging for gamers and try and compete with the other gaming companies. But when the Wii happened, and so many people were like, "Wow, this, it went incredible! It went, everyone played the Wii." They tapped into so many new people, but they couldn't keep them because they were the casual gamers. They were the casual hobbyists. This was the new thing. They played it for a while, and then they went on to the next new thing because that's what casual people. That's what hobbyists do. They find a hobby, then they find a new hobby, and then they find a new hobby. And Nintendo couldn't keep those people. They couldn't keep them in their field. So they went back to the original core who were like, hey, yeah, we've had a generation that really wasn't tailored to us, but all right, fair enough. But that was the old strategy. That was the classic strategy for Nintendo. Now we've got new CFO, we've got new CEO, we've got new heads. And they've openly said, yeah, we're going to try and get more people playing. Open it out. And the Switch was a big swing in that direction.
Yeah.
Accessible, had the connectivity, kind of the get up and play of,
Dan,
and engaging. It's get the console out of the house and into people's hands.
You said it. I think
literally.
Exactly. I think when one tries to predict the future, when it comes to an artist or company or whatnot, and we try to figure out how are they going to win over. How are they going to top their last work or whatnot? I think that's the wrong question to be asking. Because the fun is that we don't know. If it was predictable, then it'd be all right. So I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah, we'd be rich. If it was predictable, we would be rich.
Yes, but also bored. It's like you're saying, well, it depends. But that being said, the focus I think you were mentioning there is that. The focus is the money. When I say the money is the not just the money, but the value, the audience. The secret is there's always, unless the human population took a big nosedive, which apparently sadly appears to be doing.
Not unexpectedly. We've been planning on a slow decline for a while. The World Health Authority has been pitching 2 parents, 2 kids to many countries for many years because that will cap the human population. If globally all countries adopt some people are going to be outliers, some people won't have kids, some people will, but if everyone has two parents, 2 kids, our global population will top.
Great.
It'll be like, it can't go any higher because we aren't producing enough to replace the old ones.
There you go. 2.5 is this in the UK. Who's that politician who said 2.5? It was very
2.5, 2 kids, 2.5. Between 2 or 3 kids, that's perfect. You get slow, steady growth, but it's not too crazy. You keep everything manageable.
Thanks,
So
man.
yeah,
You calm me
but
down. But sorry,
but
what was I saying? I was saying, the thing is, at the end of the day, you still got the same pool of populace, or the same pool of people, and at the end of the day, you're just thinking to yourself, all right, I don't have to keep trying to. I think this is Nintendo's secret, and it's very simple. I think apparently they say truth is simple. If it was complicated, everybody would understand it. Somebody said, yeah. Nintendo just says at the end of the day, there are people there, and if this, if our next machine or if one of our successors in line of consoles undersells what we just sold before, it just means that less of those people bought it. It doesn't mean that we have to create something bigger and better. We just need to find what they want and in essence, I create a device that we can produce. So it, as far as commercial viability is concerned, or was practical and pragmatic, and sell it to them. And
yeah.
and if that's being met with a barrier, we just need to figure out how to overcome that barrier. Maybe you have to convert you into a gamer. Maybe we have to put our gaming on in environments that you're used to, like in the mobile department more so. Maybe it's the thing. This is why I don't think like the West is
Sell it
very
well, pitch it well. You know,
exactly.
advertise it correctly. The Wii U's advertising campaign was awful. It relied too heavily on the Wii, and those people who bought the Wii, most of them are already gone.
Exactly.
So they're like, "Hey, it's the same thing we did before.
This is what I think.
Buy now."
Yeah, you know, I think I think the Wii U was a big. Now I think about it,
It was a big swing, just like the Switch was. But unfortunately, big swings sometimes miss. You know, and
you know what? I want to say something. I'm a Nintendo fanboy. I'll admit. Well, obviously, I mean, the banner of my.
we're here talking about Nintendo. Come on.
Yeah, my banner of my channel is all the Nintendo icons I love. But I mean, so in which case, what I'm saying is to say, I would normally just try and push positive things and so on over and over. Super fanboy, but I have to admit, when I heard, I don't think I told anybody this. Maybe I did. I told my brother once. When I heard the next Nintendo console was going to be called the Wii U, I already thought this is awful. Not that it was going to be awful, but something voiced in my head that this is awful because I felt PlayStation 2 vibes. Not that PlayStation 2 didn't sell well, but let me explain. Sony is not a games company, nor is Microsoft, right? So when they produce another games console, they have to call it the Xbox this, the Xbox that, PlayStation this, PlayStation that. If they want to call it something completely different, then people won't know what they're dealing with. They'll have to reintroduce the idea. Oh, wait, remember us? We made the Xbox. So Nintendo, they don't have to do that because people know they're in a gaming company. All you have to do is say Nintendo, and you know you're dealing with a game machine. Sega had the same thing before. This hilarious thing. So I destroy it. But yeah, so when I heard Wii U, I was like, Nintendo, you don't need to try and resell the Wii. Even with the DS, I don't think you need to try and fine. At least 3DS sounds like it's a new concept. And I was like, oh, fair enough, it's 3D, but you know, they do your eyeballs in. But but other than that, I say you don't need to do that. If you call the next Switch a Switch something, I'm gonna say you haven't. People are gonna think that you haven't moved. That this is not the real next console. This is some sort of an upgrade from
the Pro version.
Yeah. So I'm thinking if you don't, I personally would recommend, if I was on the team, that they call it something else. Now I know it sounds like a risk, but I think this is Nintendo's strength, that they don't need to keep piggybacking off their past successes. They can do something completely different. It's scary, but if you
their heritage is so large that they don't need to piggyback off the last console because they've already got generations of consoles behind them. You know?
Exactly. Not to mention bloody IPs that no one can shake a stick at. So there you have it. So with that being said, I feel that whatever I got a feeling, just like the Switch kind of was very clever to me, and it kind of just slapped me around the face for a moment because it was so simple that it's like, why didn't I think of that? It was right in my face. It's like, just do the Wii U properly. I mean, and I got a feeling that the next console is going to be something super simple that most people, it's usually so simple. Everyone else is trying to do graphics that are so real that they're jumping out the screen and punching you in the face. And
there's a cap to that. I get really frustrated when people talk about, oh, the graphics are great. I'm like, yeah, okay. The graphics are great on a lot of these AAA games, on these more modern games. And yeah, I don't want to embellish how great they look. They look great and it plays great. But too often companies will prioritize visuals over gameplay, visuals over actual gameplay loop. Like the game is pretty mundane, but it looks great. Or consoles will promote how great their games look, but they won't talk about what else you can do with it. There's lots of
Because
avenues.
they're not game companies, are they? Exactly it. These companies
No.
that do that, they're just technologists, if you would. And what happens is the best thing about. I mean, this is what I love and hate at the same time about the gaming industry. About the games industry, a bit like when they said Shenmue's the worst game of all time. You literally have to go to work to earn money. Shenmue's the guest game of all time. You just have to work to earn money. When they come up with a new console and they say, "Wow, this game's so much better," throw your old one in the dumpster. Say, "Hey, man, I just spent money on that." "Oh yeah, well, fine. I just used my last bit of savings to buy the next console." "Oh no, that's old now. You throw that away too." "What?" And it's like, and then all these kids at school give you this look like, "Oh, you're playing that? It's too old." You're saying to them, but if you think about it, Nintendo plays the long game, because when these other consoles bring out, or even a certain game on Nintendo platform, were to be focused on how it looks, making it a look toy, if you will, they're always flash in the pans, because the next game console comes out and they make that obsolete. And not a good game console. The next leap in graphics would make that obsolete from the paradigm of who looks the best. The moment something else comes, it's a bigger fish situation. But the games that are made with gameplay as a focus, they stand the test of time always. You can always go back and play the ones that. I mean, this is why.
I mentioned it today. Today we were talking Metroid, and I said the first game, if you want to play Metroid, go back and play Super Metroid. Is a SNES game that, while visually kind of simple, bit pixel arty, the gameplay is solid. The game structure is solid. The pacing is right. That's a well-crafted game that does stand the test of time, and it's true. And there's a physical cap to how good a game can look, because I think that games are going to reach a point of visual fidelity. There is a cap, because the human eye can only register so much visual acuity.
At least as much as what you can do with.
As what you can show. You can show. It's theoretically possible to show us visuals that are better than our eye can perceive. Meaning that the games will look so great. You could show off these statistics, and you're like, great. I can't enjoy that because I can't physically see it. Because my own actual eyes won't let me. And you're like, okay, well, this console looks great, and now I have to buy a new TV. And I've got to upgrade my fucking eyes to enjoy the game. No, just focus on the primary gameplay loop.
That's what
it's games that promote the visuals over the game. They're the ones that don't survive. Exactly. And we're seeing it with these live service games. These live service games where you're supposed to, it's a job. You get in and you do it every day, and you do it for a while, and it looks great and it's fun. But where's the end point? I find video games such an engaging hobby, such a massive part of my life, because like most people, I enjoy a good story. I like a movie, I like a TV show, I like a novel, I like a game, because it's a fantastic way, it's a great medium for telling stories. Because you have the agency of the protagonist. You progress the story. You can slow down that story and take in the environment, the ancillary information, the extra characters, or you can rush headfirst into the events, the major plot beats. You have that power. And other mediums don't. They tell you a story as opposed to letting you create the story.
Yes, that's exactly.
But a game that has no end has no beginning, middle, and end. And a good story needs a beginning, a middle, and an end. If there is no end to your game, it's not a game. It's just a job.
That's a very good point. And yet it's a bit like how do you express the concept of infinity through numbers?
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean,
have you ever seen that clip from Gumball
No.
From the Gumball show where the dad is reviewing a game. Oh, it's freaking hilarious. Gumball game.
I'm going to put this up with no. This is the after party.
Oh wait. Here, I'm going to show you this is how you express infinity through a. Oh, this is how you express infinity.
I'm only seeing a part of your screen. It's zoomed in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm only seeing the top right, top left one. Wait, maybe it's my computer. Hold on. Is it me? Yeah, it's not the entire. Oh wait, I can see up to the your Google Chrome logo and Seagate on the top left. Oh, and the recycle bin.
Okay, I'll stop share. Let's try this again.
Share the screen, like
portion,
the window.
share sound. Okay, right.
Okay, almost. Just drag it a bit to the left. Yeah, there we go. A bit to the right, actually, if you don't mind. Yep, perfect.
Okay, right.
Okay, hi. This week I'm reviewing.
Can you crank it up?
Sure.
Cheers.
My computer. It's not as good as Minesweeper or Solitaire, but it's worth a shot. Okay, so I'm just loading up the game now. Okay, it's called Calculator. You take a character and you pick up a pair of binoculars and you spot the treasure marked by the X, obviously. But be careful, because as soon as you get the treasure, there's this snake thing. But it's okay, because you can pick up the axe or the bow or the arrow and kill it. Then see what you've got. Hey, I got a new high score! What happens is that there's no female characters, but there's no male characters either, so it's okay, I guess. There's a couple of little glitches with certain commands, like if I try to use the arrow with the balloon, see what happens. So yeah, pretty good game, 8 out of 10, would play again.
That's what happens when you try to express in a computer.
Mate, whoa. What's that? I got to put that
That's
in the
a TV show called Gumball. I gotta say, it was a show from the mid 2000s. I think I missed it the first time round because it came and went when I was living my life. I guess I was at university, but I recently discovered it only like a couple of years ago. It was when I was just finishing my masters. I went back home to do my dissertation. I had like a few months left to finish my dissertation work, so I went home. I needed a roof over my head and food, and I watched a few episodes on Cartoon Network randomly, and I was just howling, genuinely laughing out loud, like, "Wow, this is a very clever show." I ended up downloading the entire 5 seasons of it and just inhaling them, just sucking them all up, and so funny. So it's the funniest show I've seen in a long time.
So
yeah, we talk about infinity.
Yeah,
you can't express infinity.
Yeah, so right, exactly. So the only thing you can do, I mean, because this is what, again, remember we were having this talks about AI before. I was saying this is what the intuitive mind, the right brain, if you will, has that computers on, which is the ability to conceive it. It's the very idea that you cannot count the amount of numbers that there are is what infinity is effectively, but a computer could not contain that in its memory.
No.
Literally. So you can get a game with unnecessary amounts of detail with the graphics and show it to people, but the funniest thing is, well, we could probably conceive what you're trying to illustrate with less graphics, first of all, because at the end of the day, this is a representation of something. It's not the real damn thing. Yeah, and then by the time you've gone and overloaded your computer, or however you generated this image, the point of the game is well and part truly gone. Unless the game is something like Steve Molyneux's box game, we're just trying to get to the core of the center of the universe.
Molyneux!
Tom Molyneux. Oh boy, I love that Guru Larry takes on this.
I gotta say, Molyneux's a very contentious character in gaming because the man's just a prolific liar. The man just an exceptional bullshit artist. But he does create some really great games. You know,
no doubt.
the way he looks at the world and the way he's able to translate certain concepts into gameplay. The man's got talent. I like his games. I just think he's a dick.
Because I think it's because he's such a dreamer.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
because of that? It's a bit like, again, this is the difference between. There's a show that my nephew and niece used to watch when they were babies. Ben and Holly. You know, it's like Peppa Pig. It's one of those tiny cartoons from the Peppa Pig franchise. No, I mean, the creators of Peppa Pig made a cartoon called Ben and Holly. I don't know if you've heard of it. Did you?
Ben and Holly.
Well,
vaguely.
essentially, it's about elves and what is it? Elves and fairies. So it's like there's two different creatures. I used to babysit them, and we'd watch the show, and there was it's very interesting what they're illustrating. There's like two different what's it, colonies, two different civilizations that would meet right in the middle, and fairies were they were magical. They produced everything they could through magic, and they represent the right brain, in my opinion. Whereas the elves, everything that they did was through hard work and labor and logic, hence they're for the left brain. And people in the elf world, they'd work themselves to death just trying to get things made. They get wonders made, rockets that can fly into the moon and all that. But fairies, they could magic some of this stuff. They sometimes they made an episode where they were able to magic money, and then I think I'm misrepresenting this, but you get something in the capacity of. Do you remember? I don't know if you've seen the last Harry Potter movie.
I've seen it all.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, so remember when Harry was in the I think Bellatrix Lestrange's vault, and he was touching this goblet, and
Horcrux, and it's
just multiply. Yeah, so you get something that's what the right brain is like. If you think you can do something, you say I can do that. It would just this is what Peter Molyneux's mouth's like. It's because he's a dreamer. He's like, I can just say whatever, we can do it. But he's also on the programming side of things, so he knows that's not feasible. It's not really appropriate to be saying that. But his right side of his mind is just running away with it. This is nothing wrong with being a dreamer, because this is what makes gameplay fun. It's the ability to see more into something than what it is, which is just a box of lights, which is what these screens are. But when you try and run with that in terms of running operation, a project, people have to say, what are you talking about?
Yes, put him in a creative role, give him creative control, great, but just keep him out of the
Executives.
marketing material.
Exactly.
Don't give him a microphone. Bandy him out, wheel him out like the Pope. Like,
Yes.
yay! And then just get him off the stage. You know, it's the new Peter Molyneux thing. Look, there he is in the distance. Oh, what a great guy. Now the marketing guys come forward and talk about the game more realistically, you know. Oh, it's a Peter Molyneux. Let him. No. Don't give him a mic. We can't give him a mic. We're just letting you know he's there. He is working on it. Just, you know, when he puts his mind to it, he can create some fantastic stuff. I mean, I was a huge fan of the Fable series.
Exactly.
I liked, you know, Spore. My God, how brilliant an idea was that? But I don't like the man himself, because he's a serial. You say he's a dreamer, and yeah, I like to think if I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, all right, fine. He's just a kid in a candy store. He's talking about all the things he wants to do. But the problem is that we live with people. Yeah. We live with humans and human fallibility, and our industry is infested with people who use hype to sell a game, who hype up things to a point of ludicrousness to sell their games. Think of No Man's Sky. There was a game that could offer you a universe in-game that was bigger than our universe, our actual physical universe.
Right.
And they're like, whoa, and what can you do? Oh, in this world, you could do anything. You could go anywhere. You could do anything you want. The limitations were your imagination. That, in the hands of an actual gamer, would be incredible. We could have an entire ecosystem within this game. I mean, it's possible. We've got Eve. Eve does it, but it just does it through bureaucracy. But in No Man's Sky, they promoted a game that they didn't sell. You know, the things that they announced you couldn't do, and that's false advertising. At its core, that's just lying to sell a game. And worst case in recent memory was Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk sold itself on being so amazing, and when it came out, it was so broken. No, people rejected it, and they started getting refunds.
Yeah. Yeah. This is it, man. I'm gonna check out the Cyberpunk thing again. Again, I also recommend checking out that Guru Larry's Drivergate scandal thing. It's a very interesting story. It's very similar to overhyping, although there's a lot more corruption involved in that one.
I'm gonna say the best video I've seen on the whole Cyberpunk thing was the Doomquisition's take on it, because not only was it comprehensive, he'd been reviewing it and he'd been talking about this thing for years, and all of it was woven together in a beautiful, well-told story. But he wrote his own song for it, and it slaps. Seriously, just watch the first 3 minutes of his review just for the song alone. Seriously, the Doomquisition song fucking slaps, and he nails it.
I'll make a note of that. All right.
Well, whatever you feel about the Doomquisition itself, that's a good review. And he takes them to task, to absolutely blasts them for some genuine abuses. They hurt their staff. They hurt their developers to get that game out in such a shoddy condition. Why? Because it was probably, because they set a deadline. And if they held back, it would have cost them more money. And the financial side, the executives wanted to make their money. Yeah, they got their money. It didn't matter who they hurt. The people who made the games, people who bought the games, people who were excited for this game, they all got hurt. But some fucking execs got their money.
These people, man. I want to go into some sort of an expose at some point with you, man. This would be I mean, it's pretty tough to do, though.
It's hard to do because it's hard to talk about these things without people coming down on you. But ultimately, this is one of the things I do like about Nintendo. Nintendo feels like a company that wants to make games. They want to be in this industry. They've been in this industry. They help make the entire industry as it stands. They help craft the tropes and the designs and the ideas that we hold true. And they have always felt like a company that put the game first. It's like what you say with the graphics. They're pushing for graphics, but the game itself is boring as hell. Well, their games look polished, but they're never crazily amazing graphics, because that's not what they focus on. Like when they're doing Super Mario 64, they spent a year in a white room just with Mario Avatar practicing his movement. They wanted to make the movement of Mario engaging. That whatever they did, it doesn't matter what they're doing with him, whatever you're doing, you are enjoying spending time with Mario. And they've always done that. Zelda, I love playing as Link. I love Hyrule because it feels so well crafted. They create works of art where other companies produce products. Yeah. And that's why I'm upset that, I don't like this move towards more mainstream game, business practices, DLCing and nickel and diming people. I want Nintendo to stand apart. They may be, weirdos in their own pond, but
without
just
them,
leave them be. Just let them do what they do.
Golden Goose, man, for sure. It's Golden Goose. Yeah.
If you start cutting it open to figure out how it works, you'll lose the Golden Goose.
Yeah, and this I guess I'll say this in closing because I'm going to finish at 12. Is the bloody hell, my mind is. You got me excited about so many topics. I'm just trying to calm. Shh, quiet. Not for now.
What do you want to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I'm gonna give the Western market any credence here, it would be that they popularized gaming. That is to say, Nintendo is a Japanese company, of course, and the IPs are from Japan and so on. But I think the West are good at spreading things around. Word of mouth is like. I mean, now here's the thing. Even though it's a bit like politics, you can get some people from a certain political party actually doing inadvertently, or maybe sometimes unhandedly, a favor for the other party, and to the point where they feel like, well, they're one party. But Xbox, despite how I'm a Nintendo fanboy, if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for even PlayStation, but certainly I'm going on the West now. If it wasn't for Xbox and Microsoft, I don't think games would be so at a point now where even Super Mario movie would work, because they pushed games everywhere. You can get a Nintendo computer, you can get a Microsoft computer, and then you want to see games like Solitaire. You'd see like the Xbox mark be promoted, and games all over TV just because they're trying to sell. And by the virtue of the fact that they're copying Nintendo by making the you are the controller Connect machine, they're promoting Nintendo, and what they were. And hey, maybe what the Western audiences are suited for. It's a bit like in the Rush Hour movie series. I love Jackie Chan movies. I watch the special features on one of the DVDs and Rush Hour 2 with my bro. And
good film.
Yeah, for sure. And there's one thing that I think an action director said. He said the West doesn't have an appetite for non-stop action the way that they do in Hong Kong for fight scenes. So I think Jackie Chan was saying to the directors, you do 10 hours dialogue and 1 hour action. It should be 10 hours action, 1 hour dialogue. And of course, people forget that Jackie Chan's actually a movie maker, and that's what he was getting annoyed with Brett Ratner over. He's saying, I know movies, but Brett Ratner's his thing was, yeah, but you don't know Hollywood, and I don't necessarily like Brett Ratner through and through. I mean, he's got a few skeletons, but I appreciate the fact that he brought my love for Jackie Chan action movies to the Western market in a bite-sized amount that they can digest. So
it's localization in its purest form. It's taking something from one place and putting it into a context that someone in a different culture can understand. Exactly. It's not just translating it's not just translation. It's localizing it. It's making it palatable for the locals.
Exactly. That's what I think. I can always thank the West, and America is famous for buying things. Like, was it you were telling me something? I think somebody else. Who knows? Maybe it was you. Buying people, buying companies, or getting the goods somewhere else and putting it in their work and selling it. I think
that wasn't me, but I completely agree. Yeah. America is compulsively capitalistic, and capitalism is always looking for the next big thing, the next hook, the next product. So they are very, very good at identifying something, categorizing it, and then finding a market for them.
Yeah.
So
go on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Nintendo's products. I mean, when we talk about Nintendo, we're talking about it from a Japanese perspective because it's a Japanese company, but Nintendo hasn't really been a Japanese company since the 90s. It's like the late 80s, 90s, because there is Nintendo of America. And there's an entire wing of their... they operate differently. They have a different CEO. They have, Nintendo's head office is in Japan, and its great edicts might come from Japan, but there is an entire wing of the east wing, the west wing of Nintendo is Nintendo America, which sells to America and to Europe. And then you've got the east wing, which is Japan and Asia. And these companies work together, but both of them have their own properties. Both of them have their own things cooking up. And it's the combination of these two parts that make Nintendo such an effective company. Too many companies try to sell you on their way of doing things, whereas Nintendo's like, let's figure out how you do things and then we'll sell it to you.
Yes. It's a bit like Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan actually has a stuntman who does his stunts before him. That maybe back when he was doing stunts. I mean, I'm sure he hung up his gloves by now, but back when he did it, he would have somebody who would do it first. Just many people didn't know. In fact, sometimes he'd actually have a stuntman, but in case because they can do it better, his stuff, but. That's the thing, and Japan are very much into planning, making sure things are safe, and doing it right, and following protocol and so on. Even though, I mean, it's a bit of a paradox what the hell's going on in Japan, because it's a country where a lot of people feel that they're restricted because of the way work ethic is organized, the hierarchical order, you do what the boss says and so on. But you get such interesting creative works at the same time. So it makes me wonder, are these people just hiding their creativity, or are they taking cues from someone else? Or
well, it's the problem with making a film or making a game. It's never quite what it started out as. it changes and evolves as time goes along. New ideas are introduced. Some great ideas get end up on the cutting room floor, as they say. Yeah, there's, but as I understand it, and as I conceptualize it, when you're creating a creative product, you will have the people who want to make it the best it can be. In games, it's the designers. In the films, it tends to be the filmmakers. They want to make it the best product, the best thing they can. But then you've got producers. And the producers are basically, reining them in, going, okay, we have this much money. How much can we fit in? How good can we make it within the budget, within the time frame? Oh, you need an extra year? I'm sorry, we can't give you that extra year because we need to sell this product. Sadly, all these things are products. People have to buy them for them to be successful. So you make them as best you can, and you have this genuine friction between the producers who want to release a product and creators who want to make a product. If a producer's too powerful, they just release it slapdash. They'll just kind of cut massive chunks out to keep it within budget and get it out on the right day, even if it's crap.
It's a rushed assignment.
It's a rushed assignment. But then you've got creatives who want to make it and they'll keep adding to it. And game developers who are like, oh, we'll add this. Oh, we'll add this extra character. Oh, this extra ability. And they keep building it and building it and building it and building it until it never gets released.
Time's
perpetually. Well, if you give them infinite time, they'll make an infinite game. It has to be,
it's like the calculator thing you showed me.
it just goes on forever and nothing gets done. So a good company is a healthy balance of these two opposing forces. You want to make the best product, but you have to release it for it to be a product. Otherwise,
it's always a project, perpetual project.
Instead of just a perpetual project. And in which case, you're pumping so much money and time and energy, and all these creative, engaging people could be used on other things.
Yeah, man. You want to
finish this
artists.
and get on the next thing.
Yeah,
and and I don't find neither one can exist without the other because they need each other to balance it out.
Exactly.
I want to lean on that artist side. I want to give them everything they need to make the perfect game. But I know from first-hand experience, I studied film. I worked with creatives who were like, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. And I had to be the producer. I had to be the guy who went, oh.
Look, man, we have to draw the line somewhere. Yeah.
Someone's got to draw a line. Like, oh, where's the line? I don't know where it is, but there has to be a line.
That is funny. There has to be. Yeah, I think, you know what, and I think the best things that are made are usually like, there's Jeff. I don't know if he's still around, but we used to make songs together. But I guess we took a break for recently. But we'd be in that situation sometimes where he'd like to spend ages agonizing over a certain song, and my philosophy when it came to making songs, well, especially raps, because he has to put a lot of thought into the rap lyrics and so on. And my take on rap is do it like a freestyler. That is to say, if you're good enough that you can freestyle the song, then do it. Whereas if you have to spend ages to make it, it's not worth making. I think Elton John has the same philosophy. He says, you should be able to make a song in 10 minutes. So I'm of the philosophy that if you can give me a mic and rhythm or something, and I can record it in one take, that should be the blueprint, and that's it. And it should be as good. You should be able to do it because you are that good, not because the work is that good. It should be a reflection of what you can do easily. And of course, draw the line there. And when it comes to these consoles, you never want to. I'm sure these companies operate in the paradigm that if things taking too long, then maybe we have the wrong developers.
maybe. But I'm actually of a different opinion. I'm far more of I'm meticulous and I'm careful, and I like to go through and double check everything. I like to cross my T's and dot my I's, and I don't like to release something until I'm comfortable with it. And sometimes it takes a while for me to get comfortable with something. When I'm writing articles or when I'm working on projects, I tend to overly obsess about everything. I sound a little bit more like Jeff. Like I want to make it good, but even I know that there's a limit to that. I need someone going, nope, time to move forward. You've got to push on ahead. And Yeah, I disagree with you that a product should just be an expression of the artist's ability. I think that the art itself can have value. That you could take your time and add layers to it, stuff that one person might not see with one pass. Maybe a fresh set of eyes could give you a little bit more flavor.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I think
But
both perspectives are.
both perspectives fine. But I don't. I think both perspectives can be poisoned by big corporate culture, which is what's happening with films and with games.
Yeah.
I mean, freaking Blizzard Activision is just milking people for their money with microtransactions and reselling games to people, and just such cruel behavior, just such terrible behavior, and it's ruining the image of our profession, of our hobby, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why Nintendo should be the beacon. Nintendo should be the standard.
Yeah.
Make a good game. If it's it could be visually impressive, or it couldn't be, or it could be either. But make a good game first, and the money will come.
Yeah. Now, I guess we should wrap up here today. So next, we didn't get to show up any Samus material. Now, considering Professor's not going to be here next week, maybe we'll pick something on that, right?
I could argue about Samus till the cows come home, but let's see if we can find something interesting. When when they drop more information about Metroid Prime 4, I think then I'll go on a whole nother spiel about her. So I'll probably have to keep it in my pants until then.
One thing I have to recommend is, I want to ask is, do you think you'll? Not to rush. Please take your time and savor the flavor. But do you think you'll be? How far through Tears of the Kingdom do you think you'll be?
I'm near the end. I'm pushing the end now. I am at almost to 800 Korok seeds. I've done almost all the side missions. And the only reason I haven't progressed with the story is because I'm trying to max out all my costumes. You need items found in game to upgrade your costumes, your the armor. And there's a set I'm trying to max out, and the monsters that drop the item is rare. So I'm just doing that. Once I've done that, I'll finish the game and I'll be done. I'll be able to give you like a full comprehensive review of it.
Well, who knows? If it happens to be next week, maybe. If not, then
give me a week or two, and I should be right near the end, I think.
All right, and last but not least, if there's anything you spot in the game news capacity, just send it my way, and then we'll chat about it.
Will do. If there's something that jumps out and catches my attention, then I will point it out. I'll tell you one thing that caught my attention. It's not games, just ancillary behavior. But how do you feel about the Ghostbusters?
Oh, are we talking? Oh no, I don't. I'm
TV
out of the
show.
loop.
TV, movie, games, anything.
Oh,
I did the characters.
Oh, I love Ghostbusters.
Turns out, and here's something that I learned only recently, like 2 days ago. Bill Murray, in the first Ghostbusters movie, created common language. The term "he's toast," "she's toast" as a derogatory attack, like, oh, she's going to die or she's going to be vanquished. The phrase "she's toast" was the first time in use in popular common parlance was Ghostbusters. Bill Murray ad-libbed that line, and they kept it in the movie, and it became common language. So anytime anyone you hear it in a song, you see it in a film, you see it someone mentions it in a game, they're toast. Yeah. Thank you, Bill Murray.
Wow, Bill Murray, my man, Mr. Kingpin, bigger
such a good actor.
Yeah, my gosh, he's toast. I hear that all over the place. Oh my gosh. Well, these lovely tidbits, I want to pepper them throughout the these videos, man. But today, I'm gonna do, because we just did the 8 questions with 7 with professors. I'm gonna put that up in episodes. But here, this whole thing, I'm gonna dunk it as a continuous feed, and for this after party.
And for those of you out there who enjoy our ramblings, join us. We'd always welcome more opinions.
Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, people. And we're going to be expanding little by little. Whatever it takes, we're just going to keep it consistent day by day. We're going to drop bits and pieces of our interviews. And we're going to
live your best self.
Yeah, exactly, man. Come on. That's what we're all about here. So, thanks. Peace. Have a good day, mate.
Peace. See ya.
See ya.